What's it look like for you, man, in 2019?
Man, 2019 looks for me, you know, I'm doing a lot of production stuff, a lot of fight stuff, training my ass off, getting ready. I can say that, right? Training my ass off, I can say that?
Yeah.
I said it.
If that's what you're doing.
Training my ass off, getting ready to get my belt back. You know, Usman's been talking a little shit recently, so we all know that wasn't me in the octagon. And I just plan on going out there and snatching my belt back right quick.
The microphones are right over there along the stairs. We have one right over there. Go ahead, sir.
All right, Woodley.
What's up,
I know
man?
you deserve the rematch versus Usman, and that's what we all want to see. But if Colby does end up getting that shot, do you have any other things in sight? Anything you'd like to do?
You know, Colby does a good job of putting his own foot in his mouth. I know people said that about me, but he's a complete dumbass.
I totally agree, bruv.
He's talked himself out of 3 world title fights. He was supposed to fight me before I fought Till. He bitched out of that fight. He was supposed to fight me before I fought Usman. He bitched out of that fight. You guys can do the math on what he did in the Usman fight. So my goal is to get my belt back. So obviously Usman is going to be my top priority. If Colby want to get that ass whooped, he can get whooped up too.
I'd love to see it, bruv.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Go ahead over here.
Hey, Tyron, big fan. Just very curious what you think of Rory McDonald. Do you think he'd still make it in the top 5 of the UFC?
Rory's probably one of the best, if not the best welterweight, you know, walking around. I actually fought him in this arena, I think 2014. He came out extremely focused, sharp, put a great game plan together, handed me an L. I hadn't had a loss in a long time. And now it looks like me, Rory, GSP, Faraz is going to get some training in. So Rory's a phenomenal talent. One guy that really this echo is messing me up. He never really let the industry or everything that goes with fighting, the press conference, get to him. He remained a martial artist, and I think that's why he's had the career that he's had.
I hope you get the belt back.
Thank you. I'm getting it back.
Let's keep them coming. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Me? Yo, Mr. Faber. How's it going, man?
Just chilling, boss. How are you?
Great, man. I'm wondering, did you hear what Dominic Cruz was saying about the triple cringe on Ariel Helwani's show?
I haven't heard it yet. I love Ariel's show, and I actually like Dom a little bit too, so I'm gonna have to go back and check it out.
He basically ripped him a new asshole, and to make it short, he said he really didn't know him as a person. Like, he doesn't really know himself, and he just spent his whole time in the wrestling room, and that's why he's has this gimmick. Do you feel the same way, or?
About Henry? I've known Henry for a long time. I mean, you know, I think it's kind of smart what he's doing, actually. Henry is, you know, he's trying to do something that's important to me, which is reestablish the 125-pound weight class. Yeah. I don't think it was fair for him to put blame on Demetrius, one of the best champions of all time, for not holding it down, but he's getting a bunch of people to talk about him. You know, right after my fight, my comeback fight, I mentioned his name. He's got Dominic Cruz, one of the best fighters in the history of the division of all time, speaking about him. He's got the girls speaking about him for all the wrong reasons, which we knew that was gonna happen. So, you know, he's trying to get some clout, get some recognition, and he's gonna get himself beat up most likely, but...
By you, hopefully?
But hey, you know what? He called me out. 1 week later, I answered the call, and then he starts calling out girls and looking at the birds and everything else. So if he wants it, he can get it.
Speaking of get it, I have one for T Wood. What's up, bro?
What's up, my man?
So what would you do if you got your hands on the Street Jesus after what he did to Ben?
You know, this sport is crazy. I train with Masvidal a lot, you know, actually more than I train with Ben. And it's just the nature of the game, you know, the cream always rises to the top. So it's inevitable that people that you respect and you train with are going to end up meeting each other. Of course, I wasn't celebrating and jumping through the room when he knocked out my teammate. This is not just my MMA teammate. Yeah. This is a guy that went to the University of Missouri partly because of the tradition we was building there. Somebody I wrestled alongside with. I wrestled with every single day in practice and also coached for 2 years. And what people don't know about me is when I went to Rufus Sport, part of the reason I went there was because of Ben Askren, because of Anthony Pettis, and because of Duke Rufus, and really made, you know, the puzzle to beat a southpaw versus orthodox fighter. If you look at my resume, it was Kelvin Gastelum, Darren Till, Damian Maia, Wonder Boy twice. All these guys are southpaw. So I'm not going to not be friendly to Masvidal because of what happened with Ben. But if, you know, we was in a situation where they were about to talk a little shit about Ben. I'm like, hey, that's my guy. I'm not gonna stand here and let y'all talk shit about my guy, but if y'all wanna have that conversation, I'm gonna step away and I'm not gonna be an accessory. So at this point in my career, whoever I walk in there again, I wanna be motivated. I want that anxiety. I wanna see what he did to Ben or how fast his hands was against Till. That's gonna gear me up and get me pumped up to go out there and get it done. But I don't see that fight happening unless we're in a world title fight.
Sick. Thank you so much, guys. Wish you luck in your next fights.
Thank you.
Hey, just a question for Faber. Welcome back.
Thank you, buddy.
How about it? I was just wondering, are you willing to wait for the snake to get back, or does that fight interest you at all with TJ?
I mean, the only reason it interests me is because I think there's probably some money involved in that fight. For a long time, I didn't want to deal with the drama of the whole thing, and it didn't sound enticing to me. You know, I was close with his family and whatnot, especially at the beginning of this, but I don't really feel like I know the guy, or I do know him, and a fight with him would be a good one. So as far as waiting around, I'm not like the waiting around type for anything, but we'll see what happens. You know, he'll be off the PEDs when he comes back, and I'll be 42, so that should even things out.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
All right, this question's for T Wood.
Yeah.
Here we go. You can stop taking that selfie. No, I'm just joking.
Actually, I got some moron on my live that's Connor's jock sniffer. I'm like, get off my live. Was it Dylan? What is his name?
Dylan Donis?
Yeah. Oh my God, I hate that I even gave him credit. He on my live talking shit. So my bad.
Good stuff. Well, excited to see you in Vancouver. Hopefully someone's hooking you up with that BC bud before you leave. Excited to see you here. I got to be real. That fight with you and Kamaru, that was hard to watch.
Yeah.
I know you got all the skills in the world to take him out. You said it yourself. It was a nightmare for you.
Don't say nightmare, my man. Don't get me with the nickname, too.
Hey, you laid it on us. You laid it on us. But I gotta ask, I know you're gonna work for that rematch, but that chain wrestling takes you in a dark place. It's hard to get past that.
I want to cut you off, man. But Kamaru Usman, skill set wise, on paper, I'm a nightmare for him every day of the week. What happened in the octagon is, one, I never make excuses. I walked into 4 world title fights with the weight of the world on my back, personal issues, injuries, never healed from the injury before, but you guys never hear about that. But the second I go out there and I fight and I'm not the characteristic Tyron Woodley that you see, then immediately it's music that's distracting him and movies that's distracting him. Ask Urijah Faber. I've been doing this same thing forever.
Hustling.
You guys just never hear about it. So when you watch the Kamaru Usman fight, I don't have to watch it. It was a silhouette of Tyron in the octagon, but something happened when I jumped up and stumped down. I think my spirit left my body. So I can give him credit for what he did. He stayed focused, he executed, but we all know that wasn't Tyron Woodley. So I don't have to go back and watch the film and say the chain wrestling, and I'm a Division I All-American, not Division II. I'm not knocking that, but it's a way different level. When you think about striking, you think about my resume, it's not that he did something so great that I couldn't keep up with. It's the fact that it's just one of those nights when you walk out there, everything feels perfect, you get close to your opponent, and the battery pack gets snatched out of your back. And that's really what I felt like. And if I look at the way that the fight went, and I don't think I won a round in that fight. If that was me fighting me, I would have knocked my ass out. The fact that I was not finishing that fight, the only thing I can take away is I had to go back, rebuild, sharpen my tools, get that hunger back. That's where I feel like I'm at right now. So sorry to cut you off, but we're not going to overly credit Kamaru either.
Yeah. You answered the question. Hope to see that belt around your waist again, man.
Soon, I'm back.
Go ahead on this side.
My question's for Urijah. Right now, who are your eyes set on for your next opponent?
Well, Henry Cejudo's got the world strap and a couple of them and an Olympic gold medal, which I actually never set my goals on as a young wrestler. I probably should have, but that's enticing to snatch up a belt, a couple belts, and a gold medal, and silence the cringe would be a great step in the right direction for me. And I think it's a great matchup. He's naturally a 25-pounder. I'm a big 35-pounder. He's got the wrestling pedigree. I've got better jiu-jitsu. He breaks guys, and I don't break. So I think that's a good matchup.
Hi, this question's for Woodley. First of all, I can't wait to watch you get your belt back.
Thank you, my man.
And secondly, I assume that you'll be fighting Colby at some point in the near future.
If he quit running, God, he's annoying.
So,
He talks some more shit for somebody that never signed a bout agreement.
so I'm assuming you hate him or strongly dislike him. So what I'm curious about is how you don't let those negative emotions like impact your training. Like when you hate someone, does it make it easier or harder to fight them?
To be honest, I don't hate him. Hate is a very strong word. I don't hate anybody. But I definitely don't like him. If he was on fire, I wouldn't pee on him. The thing about it is, I think sometimes when we run away from your emotions, you got to use those emotions. I can't go out there and be emotional and take myself out of what I do best, which is figure out my opponent, take away their weaknesses, and leave them to deal with me. I'm not going to take that away. But if I get an opportunity where I see him hurt, or if I get an opportunity where I see an opportunity to hit him with a punch or punch him, grab his neck, break his arm, I'm going to do it. So this is a fight where I'm excited about the emotion that I have towards him. And I know that he can't deal with me. I've trained with him. I've had him in training camp. He talks a big game, but we all know what it is.
Thanks.
Urijah, how's it going?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to ask, if you're in a title eliminator fight, would you fight Cody Garbrandt?
No, absolutely not.
No?
No, I have no. I mean, I'm not going to fight anybody I don't want to fight. You know, I'm not in this just lining up whoever you want and me knock them down. I'm, you know, a veteran in this sport. I was teetering on whether to come back, but I was getting the itch to want to fight, and it sounded like a good time. But first off, Cody hits like a Mack truck when he's firing all cylinders. No, thank you. And he's also my teammate, my very good friend. So absolutely not.
Okay. And Tyron, I saw you fight at MSG against Wonderboy. It was a great fight. And I wanted to know, I thought Darren Till was going to beat you, and you dominated him. I just want to know what you think a good advice is for him going to middleweight.
You know, Darren Till, you know, he was a fighter that many people thought was going to beat me. They thought he was a younger fighter. They thought I was more focused on the outside octagon things, and he was more focused on the fight. They were talking about how he hadn't seen his kid in so long. And when I looked at the matchup, he was a fighter that I knew had the ability to actually take me out. I knew he had the power. I knew he had the size. And I knew he actually believed he can beat me. It's a difference. A lot of people say stuff. Like Colby know he can't beat me. Darren Till believed that. And when someone has that amount of confidence, the size, and the abilities to put behind it, I told my coach, I don't care how tired I get. I don't care what's going on. Don't let me ease up. I mean, I was watching Cejudo and DJ fight. I was sitting in the front row, and I said, I want to leave. They put Usman behind me. They put Till behind me. They put Queef behind me. And I'm like, you know what? I want to go in the back. So I left the arena. I went in the back. I told Reebok I need some gear. They said, what? I said, I need some gear right now. I grabbed some gear. I walked past security. Security would say, well, you can't go back here, sir. I said, ma'am, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm going to walk by you. And there's nothing you can do. Me and my coach are going to go back here and train. And I was training while Cejudo was fighting DJ. And when Cejudo beat DJ, I said, watch this. If DJ can lose, anybody can lose. No matter how hard we go, no matter how much I try to take a break, push me, because this kid means business. And that was my mentality. I even planned my off day based around travel. We got a press conference that you got to do for every big fight. And I trained 21 days straight until that press conference day. So Darren Till is a medicine I needed. I needed that. Cody, what's his name? Queef, whatever his name is. He would give me that, because I can't lose to him and then go back to the barbershop. I can't lose to him and go back to my old street. I got to take him out, and I got to do it in dominant fashion. A rematch against Usman, of course. He beat the greatest welterweight of all time. I got to show you how that I still got it. I got to remind you guys of what I can do. Training with GSP, that's something that'll be an honor to me. Training with Roy McDonald. You got to have humility to go and train with somebody that whooped your ass. So me going into these fights, like when I tell you I'm back, I'm back. Like I'm training like a Mack truck, I'm punching, I'm kicking like a Mack truck, and I'm just excited to be back in there. And I needed that loss, and I needed to take a step back so I can look at my circle, look at what I was doing, clean my plate off of things that I didn't need to be doing, and reorganize the stuff that was on there. And I'm just excited to be back, to be honest.
Good luck.
Come on.
Okay. Hey, Urijah? Sorry, am I too loud? Sorry. Hey, Uriah, this first question is for Uriah. Welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you.
I have a question. So you retired in the first place. What made you decide to unretire out of curiosity?
The reason I retired was because I felt like it and I wanted to. And that's the same reason I came back. I went out on a good note, but I felt like my nose had been to the grindstone for literally, since I graduated college. Like I didn't even know how to use a computer when I retired because I had just been grinding, not since college, everything changed. I had some goals outside of the fight game that I wanted to get to. I wanted to experience life without the fight game, without the responsibility of preparing for a fight and getting asked to fight, and that has to be your focus. So I stepped away, and I really love stepping away. And the reason why I came back is because I was itching for a fight. It was something that was internal. I started stacking up all the reasons why I should and all the reasons why I shouldn't. And the one thing on the side of it that I shouldn't was because I retired. And I was like, that's not a good reason. So, just because I wanted to, man. And it felt great to get back in there.
Well, it's good to have you back. Well, I hope you actually beat Cejudo and get the title.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, T-Wood, welcome back to Vancouver, man.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate it.
I have a question. I think it's a two-part question. Number one, when do you plan on fighting next? And if you don't fight Usman, who do you have in mind?
I just want fights that excite me. I want fights that are going to get me back to the title if it's not an immediate rematch. When you look at a lot of fighters that are in similar situations as me that had never defended, they were given instant rematches. And you got to recognize that my deck of cards is my deck of cards. It's not theirs. So whatever reason why that fight wasn't immediately rematch, I can't cry over spilled milk. I got to go out there and do what it takes for me to get back to the belt. So obviously it's going to be a lot of emotion in the Colby, I keep messing this kid's name up. Covington fight. It's going to be a lot of emotion in the Usman fight. But outside of those two fights in that division, those are the ones that excite me the most. And after I get my belt and defend, if I fight Usman and beat him, I got to give him that rubber match. I can't just say, okay, nanny, you can't get me. I got to give him a chance to get back out there, and prove it. Fighting Colby, obviously. Then I'm looking at 185 after that.
Well, best of luck to you, T-Wood.
Thank you.
Man, both of you guys are killers, elite athletes, and all-around good guys. So I got a question for each of you, but the California kid. First, Uriah, as we were heading down here, we were listening to a little bit of Tupac, California Love, just to get head smile. My question for you is, you've been doing this before a lot of these guys even watched their first UFC, 16, 20 years professionally. What do you think it's that you do differently, both physiologically or in your lifestyle or in your training, that allows you to build a brand, build a gym, and still be elite all these years later?
That's a good question. There's a lot of parts to that. The first thing is good health is true wealth, and I was lucky enough to be in a family that believed that from the get-go, from the womb. So I've always been super hypersensitive to living a healthy lifestyle, and inside fight camps, outside of fight camps. Consistency, that helps with consistency. As far as building a brand, it's all about how long you've been there. Tyron talked about, I know that he's been hustling, all the other stuff he's been doing while he was a champion, before he was a champion. In our sport, especially where I started, I had to work to be able to fight. I got paid $200 to show up, $200 to win my first fights. I was bussing tables, coaching little kids. And so the longevity, not getting, deterred when the things get rough, and being there for a long time. I mean, there's some famous people out there that shouldn't be famous, but you just heard their names a bunch of times. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Kato Caitlin, but he was lived in the garage where OJ killed some people, And so everyone knows his name, and it's just because he was on the news a bunch. So we've been there doing big things for a long time. That's because of training seriously, living a healthy lifestyle, always believing in yourself. Some of these guys have a little loss or have a little setback, and it takes away their self-belief. But mine comes from my parents believing in me, and an unconditional love and a healthy lifestyle.
Awesome. Thanks, Uriah. And Tyron, there's no doubting that you're an extremely elite welterweight, definitely in the contention of the best welterweights of all time. But a lot of people in this arena would agree that there's another elite welterweight, George St. Pierre. So my question for you is Tyron at his peak and a GSP at his peak. Walk me through how that fight plays out.
You know, it's tough. It's tough to say because, you know, you watch George St. Pierre, who I'm a fan of, obviously. If I reached out to him to train, it's just humility. And I think that's what makes me me. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but I looked up to Urijah for a long time, and I called him, and he always answered the phone. I picked his brain on business. He was a brand before there was a brand. There was no brand. He made a brand. He was one of the first fighters that had a walkout song, they had a headband, they had a K-Swiss, they had Form 1, had the Amp Energy drink. And one thing he did, he really spreaded that love out to all the alpha male guys. He didn't have to do that. He could have just kept it to himself. So you guys need to salute him because he did a lot for all of us in this sport to consider ourselves a brand. George St. Pierre did the same thing, but in the way that he trained for a fight. He trained with the best wrestlers he can train. He trained with Greg Jackson, then he trained with Freddie Roach. He took his time and his money and invested into himself. So I took that rubric and I did the same thing to me. I think naturally I'm faster. I think I punch harder. I think I kick harder. I think I wrestle better. I think we both mentally tough. And I think if you match us at our prime, I think I win that fight. And I've always wanted to prove that, not to you guys, but to myself, because he was the king of the throne for a very long time. You can't ever walk around and say you're the greatest that ever did it, knowing that this guy's living, willing, able, and competitive enough to still compete. So that's why I was pushing for that fight. Not so much for the money. I'm gonna make money anyway. But so much more for myself that I can prove that I am the greatest welterweight that's ever walked around. And once I recognized we were never gonna fight, and I said, why not us train? I'm gonna get the same motivation, but it's now instead of 25 minutes, I can share weeks, hours, months on picking his brain, swapping techniques. And now my legacy is based on who I beat, how I beat them, how long I reigned at the top. And that's gonna be my argument why I'm the greatest of all time.
Thanks for the answer. Appreciate it, gentlemen.
We'll go on this side. We have 5 minutes left. We'll try to get in as many questions as we can. Go ahead.
Urijah T. Wood, what's going on, guys?
What's up, my man?
All right, this is a fucked up question. Sorry for my language. Okay, so Henry Cejudo has called out Wiley Zhang and Valentina Shevchenko. The only woman he called out was Amanda Nunes. Is that because you think he fears the GOAT, Amanda frickin' Nunes?
I love your energy, and Amanda.
Fuck yeah, you do.
There we go. Make sure y'all get a camera on him because he needs his 12 seconds of fame. ASAP.
I've lost 30 pounds so far. Let's go.
All right, give it up to him. All right, I think he's doing what Urijah says. I think he's building, kind of a character for you guys. I don't think he really want to fight a female in the octagon.
I think Nunes would whoop his ass, honestly.
Potentially, she's whooped a lot of ass in the gym. I can vouch for that with my own eyes. UFC fighters, high-level fighters that are in her weight that she's put hands on. So I wouldn't say that she couldn't do it, but I think he's mostly just kind of, trying to focus shut out.
Maybe he thinks she can't take a joke and the other girls can. Maybe he just want to get side busted. I don't know. She seems like she could take a joke, though.
Oh, yeah, she's funny.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah. Keep up the good work on your weight, buddy.
Hey, he low-key look like Lazy, the photographer guy, don't he?
Hey, what's up, T. Wood?
What's up, my man?
Hey, so with the upcoming fight, if they make it happen between Colby and Usman...
That ain't happening.
Hey, if it does, though, who do you see winning that fight? And would you like a rematch with Usman, or would you prefer to fight Colby Covington?
I want to fight both of them for different reasons. So, no, you don't know. I might get a chance to fight Usman before Colby does, and then I'll fight Colby after that. So either one of those guys, I don't really care to order.
Okay. And hey, real quick, I got a request to Dana White in the UFC. It's been a while since you guys been to Washington State. Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle sold out the Tacoma Dome, 25,000 recently. Hey, if Seattle isn't ready, hey, please come to the Tacoma Dome, man. It's a good fight, little town right there. Make it happen.
I'll let him know.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
What's up, T. Wood? How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing, my man?
I know you've been petitioning for the rematch, of course, with Usman. I was wondering if you got it, what might you do differently in the rematch?
Just fight. I mean, I didn't really petition for it because I don't like the crowd. Like when I lost to Roy McDonald, you didn't hear me make complaints. The same thing with Jake Shields, same thing with Usman. You got to take your hat off because no matter what circumstance prevented me from going out there and doing what I need to do, that person knew he was fighting one of the greatest welterweights of all time, knew that on paper is a very difficult matchup, knew the things that I was able to do and capable of my career, and he wouldn't execute it. So all I got to do is fight. I don't have to do nothing different. I don't have to go back. I wouldn't even watch the film. There's no point. Just go out there and fight.
You think you're walking out to one of your jams, or is that a surprise?
I don't know yet. Every time I switch my song up, I lost. So I might have to go back to my original. My 4 times I've lost in my career, I decided to get spicy and change up the walkout song. And I know it's not about superstition, but I think I'm going back to the original.
Enjoy your stay here in Vancouver.
Thank you.
Hey, Tyron, congratulations on your amazing performance
man.
inside the UFC, your career and everything.
I ain't done yet, man. Don't retire me.
Yeah. Hey, I had a question for you. You've been training with GSP lately. What's that like? And I just saw that a couple hours ago you're competing for a fight against Khabib at a catch weight of 165. And what do you think is going to happen?
I trained with Faraz. I haven't had a chance to train with George yet. We just committed that it's something that we want to do both. I'm sure when I get a chance to train with him, it'll be amazing. I'm a big nerd when it comes down to MMA. I just look at Khabib. I was talking to Urijah about this behind the curtain. He's a beast, and I just think that right now in my life, in my career, I need the impossible. I need the stuff that nobody can do. I need the thing that's going to motivate me beyond measure, and I think that he provides that. Obviously, I could never make 155. I'm already kind of alluding to handling business at welterweight and going up to middleweight. So it would have to be something at a catchweight. It would have to be something that he would be interested in. He's on top of the world right now. I might not even be an option for him. So it's more out of respect of what he can do and how I know Dustin spars middleweights, light heavyweights. And for him to go out there and put on a performance like that against Dustin, I got to see what it feel like. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Thank you.
We got one more question. You already asked a question.
Yeah, I should give it to some.
All right, we'll go over here.
Being two of the best analysts in the game, when are we going to see you guys sitting cage side calling the fights?
They got a lot of depth, man. Paul Felder's a beast. Dominic Cruz is maybe one of the best commentators in the sport. You got my man over there doing his things, throwing the alley hoop. So it's play-by-play and it's color, right? It's two separate things. And they're so deep with depth right now. If there's an opportunity where I can sneak in there, yes. But right now they got, kind of an all-star commentating crew.
For me, that sounds like a job. I've been trying to avoid a job for a long time, man. So I'd be interested in throwing some in there, but not if it means suiting up on a regular basis. I'm gonna try to stay in sandals and stay as close to naked as possible at all times. That's some entrepreneurship.
Thank you. Thank
Let's
you,
have
Vancouver.
a hand. Tyron Woodley and Urijah Faber.